with the way semi-professional or amateur handle concussion, it's much more the way you have to take yourself out of the game. So say like 9 years ago, with Victorians, if I ever got a concussion, I'd just play on because it wasn't really up to the physio; it was up to you. But like with say Doncaster being professional and having especially with referee mandates and physio mandates, you take a head knock, that's seen by the referee. You've got to go off. You've got 40 minutes to do your HRA and get back. So obviously, lack of finances for amateur and semi-professional. It's about how safe you feel. Your own body. If you can play on, you can play on. But I remember at school rugby, especially, you'd always get the coach would always force you to keep carrying, even if you didn't feel right. But I never in my time really been, Lux, Albion, or Doncaster ever really been had a push to play on. But maybe that's just my own mindset that I always play for it. How much can you protect players? Players have to protect players. You can say, what can referees do, like drop the tackle high and all this, but at some point it is a contact game. So they're probably doing too much. Like, how many times someone's been, red carded, yellow carded just for a small head, like contact to the head. It's going to happen. So it's almost one of those where there's obviously the NFL stuff with lawsuits. So I guess they're probably doing what they think they can do to like hold their own back, of like make sure that they can't get any lawsuits. But it's probably too much in my opinion. But the new laws of obviously head contact, it's just they're good to like try and get people to tackle lower, but it does kill so many games. How many games? Like I think Super Rugby, I think average amount of red cards is one per every 2 games or something like that. When it used to be 14 games per 1 red card. So I guess with like if you bring in new laws or bring in new cards, it just seems a bit messy. Maybe just got to accept it's a contact game at the end of the day and just say, right, is there malice? Did he drop into the tackle? Like if he came in high, but he could have avoided it, maybe then he goes. But yeah, eventually we got to just understand it's a contact game. There's not a great deal you can do about it. With like this early onset Alzheimer's and all these head knocks and so forth, it's like I think the way James Graham said, as I said before, the rugby league player says, you're growing up, you have to make your own choice. Like with say George North's had 6 or 7, possibly should retire. He should look after his own best interests. Like some guys can be too hard for their own good. So I think everyone's aware of it. Like I'm very aware of concussion, very aware of like my memory getting worse or better. Like at some point you got to say, all right, I'm 30, I've had 6 head knock concussions. Maybe even if I don't want to retire, I just retire because you got a long life. But what can the RFU do really? Like if you want to keep playing and you're not worried about your long-term health, then maybe just be on your back. But I think everyone's pretty aware. Like I was aware from a young age. We used to do a talk every year about concussion, about pulling yourself out, about return to play. They looked at the New Zealand team that won the World Cup in the 1999. Was it 1995? And their heaviest player was as heavy as the Kiwi. Was as heavy as the lightest player in the Kiwi side that won 2015.
Yeah.
So contact's just getting bigger. The game's getting quicker. It used to be that it used to go low and kill the ball, the speed of ball. Now the speed of ball is actually just getting faster and faster, and the way you can slow it down is hitting high. So it's going to have to be with boys have to look after their own safety, and if you're going to tackle high, you just have to get good at keeping your head either side of their head, because that's when the real bad head knocks come. But yeah, I think just the way the contact sport in general, like American football, rugby league, even like ice hockey, everyone's getting so big that careers going to get shorter and shorter as bodies get used up more. Like say rule changes of how far you can take it. You can, I guess you'll probably see in the future of what I've heard is you'll probably see they make a law you've got to tackle underneath the chest. But I just think careers will just get shorter and shorter, to be honest. With the guys I talk to, I think like NFL, the average career is like 3 years. With rugby, it's like 6. It probably go down to 3 years, and the game will just get quicker and more physical to the point of it'll just be the meat grinder. Well, it's already happening now, isn't it? Like, fewer and fewer. I think there's been it could be COVID, obviously, but with like the player turnover, clubs have struggled. Like Albion this year, with carrying 17, 16 on the match day squad just because of how many injuries they're carrying. So yeah, I think there'll be a biting point in the future of all contact sports where it's just the turnover will be too great.